afternoon and welcome to Lucia's Kitchen. Today's recipe is homemade pizza with fresh sliced tomatoes, chopped up tomatoes. And these are the ingredients you're going to have to start with. I used about 7 round tomatoes. You can use plum tomatoes, you can use 2 cartons of plum tomatoes. You can really load your pizza with many slices of tomatoes or chopped up tomatoes, or you can use very little. It's per your liking. You need salt, a 1/4 cup of oil. This is the brand I prefer. 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, and obviously your pizza dough. And this is the brand that I use. I get it at ShopRite, Papa Sal's. This is identical to the recipe that my mother makes her pizza dough and fresh bread. Here's a little trick. If you want to have pizza that's very thin, this comes frozen from ShopRite. You can actually defrost in the refrigerator and then take it out when you need to use it. Or you can place it on a plate and don't allow it to rise too much. If you really like your pizza really thick, then you can knead it and cover it with a cloth and let it rise and then form your pizza afterwards. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I do is I get my pans ready. So I just drop a little bit of oil like that. Just grab a little paper towel. And I just spreading that oil around just so that the pizza does not stick to the bottom of the pan. You don't want to make it too oily. What I like about this pizza dough, it's not oily to begin with. It's nice and dry. Okay, just like that. Don't need a lot. Put that there. Then I grab my pizza dough. I like to do this first just so I can work with it. Okay, so I kind of just, not like a pro pizza person, but I just start kneading it. I use my palm here and I just start pushing it. That's all I do. And sometimes I walk away from it. And I start with this, because I really want it to make it as thin as possible. If there was a little hole there, you can cover it up. And this is all I do. Just like that. Yep, move my sleeve out of the way. This is such a quick recipe that's great for dinner. Now, the other ingredient that I do not have in my pantry today is fresh basil, so you can chop up some fresh basil and throw it on there. So that's all you're going to do. I leave it sit there for a little bit. We're going to come back to that as well. All right, so here's the tomatoes. Let me just grab a scoop. This is important. I chop up my tomatoes, but if you notice, I don't have as many seeds, so I rinse my tomatoes underwater just so that there's not that many seeds, because I'm more interested in the skin, but this is all chopped up. So you add a little salt. Okay. And take garlic. And I chop that up. You can use a cutting board. Just peel it. Just cut it like this, and I make it really thin, just like that. Just drop it in there. You can use 1 or 2, you can use 3. There's no error. Whatever your family prefers. This is so easy. You can chop up your tomatoes and add your garlic, and don't put the oil in, just put it in the refrigerator for the next morning until you're ready. I'm just going to use 1. Take my 1/4 cup of oil. I'm not going to use all of it. I just left that much behind, so maybe you can use a 1/3. It depends how oily you want it. Okay. Come back here, work my pizza. Here we go. Almost all stretched out. You gotta work on it. Be patient because it takes time. Unless you're a pro at throwing up pizzas in the air, this is the best I can offer you today. So here we go. That's almost done. Come back here. This is my favorite size pan. This isn't bad. Just don't have an extra one, but you can use any kind of pan. You get more pizza and it's thinner when you do it with the baking. See, it's not that. And watch your sides. I know people like crust, but make it thin so you're not just eating a lot of crust. Now what happens is it's a little oily, so it takes a while to get it to stay in place, but it will. Almost there. There we go. Just fill in where if it's too thin, you can fill it with your hand. You want to get closer with the camera. Okay. Boy, there's one. Let's finish this up. This is getting really thin, so I want to fill in just so it doesn't fall apart when I go to cut it. Just pushing it along. Oh, it's so good. Now, if you don't like fresh tomatoes, you can also just make some sauce. When you make your sauce, you just want to use a little bit of garlic, and you can put your toppings. You make a white pizza. Okay. I think I'm just going to save this one for later. Put that in the refrigerator. All right, here we go. So what I do is it's really soupy, so you want to be careful. You don't want all that oil. So what I do is I kind of just pull it out and then just spread it out like that. So you don't want all that juice. So you want to kind of drain it a little bit. Go around. Now if you want to use basil, which I do not have, I do use it, you want to chop it at the end and just place it sparingly on your pizza. What I usually do is I like my tomatoes a little, not too ripe, but not too hard. These are just right. And you can make them chunky. You can make the pieces as small as you like. It's to your preference. You can leave it just like this. I sprinkle Parmesan cheese at the end, you will see. If you find you don't have enough tomatoes, you can always cut more and go through the whole process of the olive oil. Or you can just chop it right on top of the pizza. There's enough oil here as well. Just perfect. And this is a total of 7 medium-sized tomatoes. Now this one is a little too big, so I'll just cut that. Just spread mine around. Does this look yummy? Just wait till it comes out. Remember, preheat your oven at 400 degrees. Keep an eye on your pizza so it doesn't burn. Now sometimes, you see how it's juicy? If you bring the camera closer, you can see some juice. At the end, I'll put it on a broil so it dries it up. But we'll go through. Okay, let me just sprinkle some Parmesan cheese. My hands. This is what I do. Just sprinkle some of this. You don't need a lot, okay? And I put aluminum foil underneath my pan because it's oiled, so it doesn't get all over the place. here. Put it down here. And let's wait 20 minutes and we'll check on it. We'll be back. Oh, look how nice this is starting to look. I'm just gonna check the bottom. See how, let's see. Oh yeah, look, it's pretty much done. So what I'm gonna do is it's 20 minutes. Do you see how it's a little bit watery on top? Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get like a paper towel and just dab it to soak it up. But oftentimes what I do is I put it up here on the first level of my stove. And then I turn this over to broil, just like that. So on broil 1, and I stay here I watch it very closely because I don't want the pizza to burn. So we're gonna stand here and wait to see how well it dries on top. And then I take it out. And then we can slice it, plate it, and then of course I have the honors of tasting it. So I'm just gonna check. I just open it up just to see, because with broiling, it can go south really quickly. I think at this point we can shut this off. Okay, let's put it out. Oh, it looks great. There we go. So, all right. So, what I'm gonna do now, let's grab my pizza cutter. This looks so good. Gosh, it looks like heaven. Comfort food, my friends, comfort food. Okay, hold on. We got a plate. Tomatoes, I just place it right on there. Pick this up, pull that up. All right. Go. And there is your tomato pizza. Remember, tomatoes should not be too ripe, but have a little bit of ripeness. This is heavenly. So thank you.